Hey there, it's Alex. We're going to do the Soothsaying. It's going to be Soothsaying, November 8th, 2019. I know there's means for guides are advocating for the Earth-based Soothsaying. That means for guides needed pertaining to November 8th, 2019 to be displayed. Where means for guides needed in the moments that may just need where just. Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords, again, I think of someone with really decent combat skills. Combat martial, that sort of thing. It's November 8th, 2019, so maybe a figure who excels in military, that sort of thing, or maybe a situation that speaks of excelling pertaining to military. Reversed, the Emperor, and there was actually a decent thing in regards to it. My past readings, I read that it's sort of a positive pertaining to reversed, but I also think of anti-authority figures pertaining to reverse the Emperor, perhaps the Emperor reversed. Um, so maybe a rebellion, maybe a certain kind of conflict, which speaks of proceeding with military skills. Five of Wands is pulled. And I'm sort of being pulled towards warning, but also a certain kind of lack of knowledge. Not lack of knowledge is not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is someone who feels like everything's okay, but does not know of something. So an unknown variable. So yeah, unknown variable and warning. That is what I'm getting from this card. Spirit pulling me towards different kinds of aspects of the cards themselves. Five of Wands. Very cool. Reverse the Star. Again, I think of shadow. I think of dark. I think of the shadow to be true. Not the only thing I think of, though. Rejuvenation. So maybe a stagnation. Maybe a standstill. I don't know, for some reason I'm getting a bit of a standstill kind of vibe from this card to a certain degree. Maybe that's a part of the situation that needs warning. That unknown variable. Maybe that has to do with some sort of standstill that's currently happening. And the Magician is pulled as well. So I think it's going to be like an 8-card spread. So I think of manifestation. I'm being drawn to the white of the robe right now, actually. The Magician card. So again, November 8th, 2019, what are some of the events that you're noticing? What are some of the things happening within your lives? And how does that relate to some of the other soothsayings that you've seen? Interesting. And I get this synergy here. The first two cards gray, second two cards blue, and these last two cards yellow. And there's a bit of a synergy here with the Magician, which was sort of being pulled towards the white robe of this figure, but also manifestation. And when I think of manifestation, I think of white. But I see over here someone stealing 5 swords, which is also tethering in regards to that in which we spoke of in regards to maybe a needing of military prowess, or that there's someone with military prowess, combat skills, a person, a situation, and so maybe the manifestation is in regards to certain kinds of swords, something in regards to combat, maybe. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Alex, it's the perfect thing about it. It's interesting because the spirit sort of lamented upon. There's a knight here with really shiny armor, and he looks like it would be really good to have a sword, but he's holding a wand, and I sort of felt like this a certain kind of spirit sort of lamenting upon why is he holding a club or a wand when he needs a sword. And I sort of looked at it and I'm like, wands are a fairly potent defense. I feel like they are. But also what's interesting about this is that the two cards previous are of there's this yellow vibe in the background. You see the sun in both cards here, the magician and the seven of swords. But he's wearing a yellow garment, which is interesting, but also contrasting with the some of the meanings in regards to the star, which might be the shadow. So both the shadow and yellow may be holding the key, to certain endeavors. So maybe next time I'll go in that road. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like, and there's also his feather kind of reminds me of a lion, even a rooster. So there's a bit of a rooster vibe on the Knight of Wands. So it's well, that is interesting. Yeah. So that's the 7 cards here. So again, Ace of Swords. I can look towards the booklet just to make sure. Sometimes I forget what the Ace is one of those ones I sometimes forget in regards to thoughts pertaining. I don't like to think of it as the Aces. I don't think of it like that. Sometimes I do. I haven't thought of it like that to a certain degree. All right, well, you don't, because you think of it like that. He's the ace of all, man. The ace of all. That was the case. Ace of all. Well, all right. A fifth. 4 suits. All right. Well, that was the case list. Interesting. Because you look at it like that. I do. For a reason. It's just. It's whatever the heck it is. All right, fine. All right, because okay, so Ace of Swords. So this was the case. Dang it. Triumph, the excessive degree in everything, conquest, triumph of force, a card of great force in love as well as in hatred. Okay, I hear that. I don't know if it's the excessive degree in everything. I don't know. I kind of disagree with that one. Ace of Swords doesn't remind me of that to a certain degree. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, there is, when you think of triumph, when you think of that, sometimes you think of like extravagant parades. So in that sense, I see the symbolism to a certain degree. Like do means per guys negated regarding this market fish, etc. Means per guys, swimmer means per guys negated. Okay, correct. So this is what they tried to do, and that was why. How today? None of it. No. I see what you're trying to protect the smallest and sort of. It's a noble thing to do. I don't know why. So yeah, the Ace of Swords. I still pulled from it for what I was kind of looking at it. So Triumph. When you think of Triumph, I think that makes sense with certain kind of advanced combat skills. And it's not just about combat skills and it's martial prowess. There we go. Martial prowess. That's what I think of to a certain degree. And when it's followed up by the Emperor reversed, I think maybe it speaks of, and I did kind of get the anti-authority kind of vibe on this time. Sometimes I don't. It's not always. Which, I wonder if it's actually worded here. Benevolence. So no, see, benevolence, compassion, credit, also confusion to enemies, obstruction, and immaturity. So, yeah, I do see that. That was it. Like I do see. Sometimes it can be negative. I think that there's not too much negative in regards to the reversed pertaining, but sometimes that's the vibe I'm getting. So, and that's just it. Compassion. Compassion. Within battle. Be everyman. Manifested. Upon the nimble. Where's I have one spinning? I never. It's just a rooster falls back afterwards. Is that it? I don't know. Yeah. So that's the Soothsaying for November 8th, 2019. Light dopamine spur guys engage regarding this market fusion extension limits or guys. I mean, guys need. You know why? That's what they said.